Hi, babes. Welcome to Bookish Babes and Morley Grays. Today, we're going to be talking about Hunt the Villain by Rina Kent. Hunt the Villain is available now if you'd like to go read it.
The trigger
Here we
warnings for Haunted Villain are parental abuse, homophobia, a death of a parent due to cancer, scenes of violence and shootings. Also, we have some stalking, murder, mental trauma, dubious consent, and graphic violence.
The main themes and tropes of Hunt the Villain are forbidden romance, male romance. There's mafia, there's grumpy sunshine, second chance. That's about it.
So the ratings for Haunted Villain for myself will be 5 stars. It will be one of the my first 5 stars that I have done in 2026. Also, for the spice level, I will give it 4 chilies because of how intense, how it was a lot. It was good. It was hot. How it made me feel as a somebody who started with Legacy of Gods, or yeah, Legacy of Gods in general when it comes to reading. It made me really sad knowing that this will be the last book. The second generation is done. This is like over. Five Heathens had the forever after, and it just made me pretty sad. So that's why I took my minute to read it and review it. Not because I wanted to finish it, it's because I didn't want to finish. So yeah.
Okay, so my rating for Hunt the Villain, five doesn't seem like enough. And I will say that I will take that shit to the grave. I will die on this hill. Five does not seem like enough stars to give this book because all year, I think I've read like about 20 books this year already. And I have not felt what this book has given me. This is
Yep.
what I've wanted to feel since Legacy of Gods. I've been looking for that high, that excitement, that it almost gives you that feeling of like, when you're in a brand new relationship and you get all giddy and you're all excited and like you're honeymooning. Yes, that gives you that feeling. And I feel
Hmm.
like I can't feel that for any other books. I've read, like I said, 20 books, and a lot of them were just like, you know, the spice level, I am gonna give it like around a 4, maybe a 3.7, because there was some really good scenes, but the plot was like it's the spice seemed mild for the plot, if that makes sense, because the plot was
Yeah.
so good that the spice kind of seemed perfectly seasoned for it. Let's just say that. Like it was perfect. It wasn't too spicy because there are some books I read where it's just spice and I'm like, this is just porn. As this it was just beautifully made. And honestly, I've said it so many times, but it was a great reminder as to why Rena Kent is a number one selling author. If you have yet to read Hunt the Villain by Rina Kent and do not want any spoilers, feel free to leave at this moment. We'd appreciate if you'd like, comment, share, and engage with our content. If you do not mind spoilers or have read the book and want to stick around for our discussion, feel free to stay around. Okay. Okay, let's talk about the difference between Vaughn with Julian and Vaughn with Danica. Is that her name?
Yeah, Donica. Yeah.
Look at Danica. She's forgettable. No, just kidding. But
Yeah, of course she is. All right. So the difference between Julian relationship and Donica's relationship is like so freaking different. And with Donica, it's more like being forced to a relationship. It's the same thing as just being nice, being careful, making sure she was taken care of financially, sexually, and so on and so forth.
difference between Vaughn with Danica is that it's transactional. He feels like he has to be the specific person for Danica. He feels like he has to be with her to be the perfect son, to be able to be the next pecan,
Hakan.
right? Okay, different
Hmm.
mafias of pecan. Okay. Whereas Yulian, he gets to actually experience a real relationship. He experiences the yearning, the jealousy, the possessiveness, everything that you feel in a first relationship. It can be a little toxic, but they're still learning how to love each other. So we see Vaughn having Sasha and Kirill. We know Sasha and Kirill from the Monster Trilogy from Rina Kent. So it was kind of obvious that they were going to be better parents because they're written by Rina Kent. And I feel like with Yulian, like how do I say it? Yulian looking at their family dynamic from the outside, it's kind of heartbreaking because he wants that. He wants that normal family. He wants that stability that they offer Vaughn, and instead he has an abusive dad who's very homophobic. Even though Vaughn is out here exploring his sexuality and he likes men, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's to me, it felt heartbreaking, and it also seemed like it was necessary because it gave so much depth to Julian as a character.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I totally agree with that. Um, First, because you can see with Vaughn, like how the relationship are with the parents, and also how Julian is with the father. Because let's be honest, the mom is barely there, and of course she became sick and passed away, so that actually made it worse. After her passing, um, Korea and Sasha they didn't disappoint me because I mean that is my favorite couple from Monster Trilogy, and it didn't disappoint me. So I was actually expecting that for them. I mean, from them, but from Julian, I do feel the same way. Like it was so heartbreaking seeing him, seeing the relationship from the outside, and always being funny. Because that's the thing, he's still being funny. He didn't get his father get on his way of what he wanted, which it was Ron, and something to do with him, and do what he wants with his life. So yeah, I know privately we did talk about this, and I noticed that it wasn't in Hunt the Villain was the chapter of the parents. We see in
Mm.
Legacy of Gods and Kiss the Villain by Rina Kent that at least one chapter, it doesn't matter if it's only 2 pages, one of the parents will be there. Starting from God of Malice all the way to God of War, and of course Kiss the Villain. But Hunt the Villain, I was surprised that it wasn't even a Kirill or even Sasha or both. Especially after they found out what his preference are for Vaughn. I was surprised that he wasn't there. But I know we spoke about that privately.
Yeah, because they even, if I'm not mistaken, I think Kiss the Villain has a chapter.
What was your prediction? Who was going to be the top and the bottom?
It
That
was
was
hard
before reading
because
the book.
before reading the book, I thought that Julian was going to end up being the bottom. Even though he gives Nico vibes, he just seems like he's smaller. And from what I've noticed, the smaller man is usually the bottom. So that's why I thought Julian was going to be the bottom. But them switching it up like that, I was like, I love that. Equality to all.
Yeah, just something different. I thought it was going to be Vaughn because of how, well, because Julian already had experience. And sometimes I think he did say in the book that he always a top. So honestly, I thought that Julian was going to be the top. And by awakening, most of the time is they end up being the bottom. But switching it up makes it a whole new experience, and I'm all for it. I'm really
Yeah.
loving all this. So it was very, very good.
So another thing that we talked about, and I recently actually brought this up to you, was that, how do I say it? So it's, I feel kind of sad that everyone from the Legacy of Gods has their letter. We get to see more into their happily ever after, but they don't have one for Vaughn yet. Again, I don't care about Gareth, but like, Vaughn, I want them to have a happily ever after, which obviously they do, right? They live in a mansion or whatever. But I want them to be able to get married and have what Brandon and Nico have, because they end up adopting, I think, like his niece or something, right? And yeah, I want to know more about that because I know we get into the wedding portion of Brandon and Nico's. So I want to know more. But that's just me being greedy, I guess, because I'm like,
Well, don't get me wrong, because like that is a whole universe. There's a new book coming out called Tensive Venom by Rina Kent, and for some reason, Kiss the Villain was part of it, and we still have to wait for Crate the Villain next year. We might have that wedding type of thing. So fingers crossed. Because honestly, I was so happy with God of Fury, like Nico and Ren in their wedding. That actually made my whole heart full. But yeah, I'm we have 2 more books to go. So I
yeah.
think it's gonna be more in Crave the Villain though, but that'll
I
be into
feel
next
like
year.
I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people's first romance is definitely God of Fury. And so that kind of, how do I say it? Like paved the way for a lot of people to get into romance or be open to romance. Because me personally, I've never read romance, but when I read Nico and Brandon, I was so excited to get into it. And then I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so then we get that. And then after that, I get into Kiss the Villain, which I did not like Kiss the Villain because I had told you it was too aggressive. It was too aggressive. And the way that they said cunt was like, but like, I don't know. A Kiss the Villain, don't get me wrong, I will support Rena Kent to the day I die. I don't care what anybody says. I will fucking like ride or die for her. But I wasn't a fan of Kiss the Villain, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna leave it at that. However, I feel as though Hunt the Villain was such a redeeming book for her.
Yep.
And we still have, like you said, Tempting Venom, right? Which is coming out later
Yes.
on this year. And that's gonna be Preston and Homeboy, which I'm excited for that one because Preston gives he gives Nico vibes again. And I said, Nico is the structure, the original
Yep.
Fun Dick Alliance, right? So
I was gonna say that too. He is the founder father of the Dick Alliance. So yes, 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 yes. And I actually started the same way as an MM romance. And as a somebody who likes smut or spicy scenes in a book, I didn't thought I was gonna like it because I'm like, not I don't have anything against it, but I was like, do I really going to be able to process the same way I probably do? Because even regular dark romance, as you have, some trouble, even with reverse harem or white shoes or triangle, love triangle and stuff, as you have issues with it, even second chances, they're not my favorite. But this one, I was like, yes, please. And I'm talking about God of Fury. And
yeah.
then, of course, Kiss the Villain afterwards. But this one, having whoever's going to be top, whoever's going to be bottom, and switching up was like, yes, please sign me up. So having Tempting Venom coming the end, well, around the summer this year, yes, please. Tempting Venom will become available on the summer, which it will be the third installment of The Vipers, which the first book is Beautiful Venom, Sweet Venom, and this one is an MM hockey romance of Tempting Venom by Rina Kent.
So if you like Heated Rivalry, it's similar to that, but it has more of a darkness to it. So we'll be doing that one as well when it comes out. And then the next installment for the Hunt the Villain series will be Crave the Villain, which is set to release next year. We'll also be doing a video on that.
Yes, that will be Cyrus and Jethro, which
Uh-huh.
Jethro was part of. Well, we have, oh my God, Cyrus, which is Julia's best friend, and Jethro, which is the second in command from Kiss the Villain, which is Kaden, which it was the main character.
Thank you for spending your time with us and watching us discuss this video as well as reading it. We hope you liked it and enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. We'd appreciate your support and happy readings.
Bye.